Hello. I wanted to take some time and go over some of the notes for 9-1, and I'm referring to the notes that are posted on Blackboard under your section notes. The first one that I want to look at is number 6. Number 6, you are solving the system of equations x squared plus y equals 24 and 2x plus y equals 0. The first equation is a parabola. The second equation is a line. I'm going to solve this system using substitution. So I need to take one of the equations and I need to solve for either x or y. I generally take the linear equation and solve it. So I'm going to take that second equation and solve for y. I do not need the 0, so I end up with y equals negative 2x. Now I'm going to take negative 2x, I'm going to substitute it back in the first equation in place of the y. So I would have x squared minus 2x equals 24. Anytime you have x squared and x, you want to set your equation equal to 0. I want to take my equation, set it equal to 0. Then I need to factor. So it's going to multiply to be a negative 24. So I know one of my factors is positive, one of my factors is negative. I want it to add together to be a negative 2. So I need 6 to be negative, 4 to be positive. Set each factor equal to 0. And I end up with x equals negative 4 or x equals 6. Now both of these numbers are x values, so I need to find the appropriate y value. So if x is negative 4, what is y? If x is 6, what is y? I'm going to take negative 4, substitute it in here, and that will tell me what y is. So I'm going to take negative 2, multiply it by negative 4, and I would end up with 8. Here I would take negative 2, multiply by 6, and I end up with negative 12. When I type this in the computer as my homework, I'm going to type it in as ordered pairs with a comma between the ordered pairs. The next one I want to look at is number 7. Number 7 is also a system of equations. The first one is x times y equals 105. The next one is 3x minus y equals negative 6. Again, I'm going to do substitution. I'm going to take the second equation and solve for y. When I do that, I would end up with y equals 3x plus 6. I would take this negative 6x, move it over to the left, take the negative y, move it over to the right. So the y becomes positive, the negative 6 becomes positive as well. Now I want to take this 3x plus 6, I want to substitute it in place of y. So I end up with x times 3x plus 6 equals 105. Distribute 3x squared plus 6x equals 105. Set equal to 0. 3x squared plus 6x subtract 105 equals 0. Now I'm ready to factor. If you notice, there is a common factor of 3, so I am going to take 3 and divide it out of every term. So I would end up with x squared plus 2x minus 35 equals 0. Factor x plus 7, x minus 5 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0, I end up with negative 7 and positive 5. Again, these are x values. So I would have negative 7 as an x value. I need to find the y value. I would have 5 as an x value. I need to find the y value. Take negative 7, plug it in over here to the 3x plus 6. So I would do 3 times negative 7 plus 6. I end up with negative 21 plus 6, so I end up with negative 15. 3 times 5 plus 6 would be 15 plus 6, so my y value here is 21. This is how I would type it in to MyLabs Plus for your homework. Now I'd like to work another one that is not in your notes that I noticed in the homework that some of my students were struggling with. If I have an equation like x squared plus y equals 400, I have another equation, x squared minus y equals 400. In this case, I would probably do elimination instead of substitution, because if I add the two equations together, the y's would be eliminated. So I'm going to add these two equations together. I would end up with 2x squared equals 800. Divide by 2. So I get x squared equals 400, and then take the square root of each side. Anytime you take the square root, you need to plus or minus. So I end up with a positive 20. I need to find the y coordinate. I end up with a negative 20, and I need to find the y coordinate. I'm going to take this 20 and substitute it in the first equation. So I would have 20 squared plus y equals 400. So 400 plus y equals 400. Subtract 400 for both sides. And I end up with y is 0. So my y coordinate is 0. Now do the same thing, but substitute negative 20. Well, negative 20 squared plus y equals 400. Negative 20 squared is still 400. So I still end up with a y value of 0. So these are the two ordered pairs that satisfied that system. I hope this helps you with 9-1 notes and helps you to get through with your homework.